Here we have the new 2026 Hyundai Santa Cruz. Now this one comes in the SEL trim level, front wheel drive model. Rockwood green is the paint, and then we have black H-Tex interior. The powertrain consists of a 2.5 liter naturally aspirated 4-cylinder engine, made it to an 8-speed automatic transmission. And sorry for the wind noise in advance, it just keeps going in and out, so I apologize. Front end here, we do get our LED headlamps along with the LED daytime running lights, and the lights don't dance like that. That's just my camera picking them up. But this is supposed to be discontinued for the 2026 model year, or after the 26 model year, and I'm gonna miss it. As we come around to these wheels, these are gonna be 18-inch alloy. I like that design there, especially with the rocker panels and all that. I like how it all kind of matches. Passive keyless entry on the front, door panel here, power mirror controls, power door locks, one-touch up and down windows on the front, regular power windows on the back. Rear window lockout there. And then we have our blind spot monitors in the side mirrors. Bottle holders. Hood release. Brightness for the gauge cluster. Bed lamp, traction control. We get a manual tilt telescoping steering wheel. And then here's our power driver's seat with two-way power lumbar support. Now I want to give a huge thanks to Hyundai of Cool Springs here in Franklin, Tennessee for allowing me to review this truck today. I'll leave a link below in the description. If you're looking to find the best price on one of these closer to home, click that second link down below. It takes just a minute to fill out your information, and I'll make sure the local dealers are fighting to get you the best price on this or whatever new vehicle you might be interested in. But yeah, I think it's crazy they're discontinuing this, because specifically for this SEL trim, I mean, $34,050. I think it's solid when you compare it to a Maverick. I mean, this is a bigger platform. It's like halfway in between a Maverick and like a Silverado or something. It's kind of hard to explain because I don't know if it's that big of a difference, but I think there's a place for these, and I hate that they're discontinuing it for a minute. Now I have the seat up front adjusted for someone of my size, being 6'3" with longer legs, so we're gonna check out this leg room. So I adjusted it about as tight as it could get. And that's one of the issues that this truck has had, I think, is the legroom back here for the size. But you get a lot of the, I guess, utilization from the cargo space. So I get you want to have a bigger bed to take that up, but just a little itty bitty bit squished back here. But I'm 6'3", longer legs, so you could fit adults back here, just not me. USB-C charge ports are there. I like that we get the seat back pocket there, grab handle. I mean, it's not really missing anything in my opinion. Child locks here, turn one way or the other to lock or unlock. And then to get the seat up or down, you just pull on this strap. I'll show you how it works on that side. I'm gonna get that seat back down. There's a fuel cap. And I always forget about the Honda Ridgeline. I feel like this is halfway between the Honda Ridgeline and the Ford Maverick. That's probably the best way to put it. But I mean, I think there's a market for it, honestly. There's a look at the back end there. And what reminded me of it is it has this nice feature here where you can open this up and then you have a little storage tray underneath there. Now, I don't think it's as big as the Ridgelines is, but you know, again, it's not that big of a truck. There's a look underneath, spare tire. Now as we come around to this rear passenger side, again, to fold it up or down, you pull that release, and then that'll fold down there. And then your lower anchors for the car seats are right in there. Now for the top tethers, okay, I see them. Top tethers are integrated behind the seats directly. Interesting. Now to the front passenger seat, it's manual 4-way here. Glove compartments there. Owner's manuals. And then we have a storage pocket up top. As we come around to the front, quick look in the engine bay. There's that 2.5 liter naturally aspirated 4-cylinder engine. Now as we come around to the front here, just gonna show off the blinkers. So there is the back. You get them in the side mirror there. And then we have the LED up front. So I really like, since it got its facelift in 25 with the Tucson, I love having the blinker there. That's a really nice look. But now we're gonna go ahead and hop in the driver's seat. A hard plastic wrap steering wheel here. I would have expected at least H-Techs, but again, I don't make cars for a living. There's the horn. Now over here to the infotainment system, we do get, AM, FM, XM radio along with Bluetooth, wireless CarPlay, Android Auto compatibility as well. And then your setup here, vehicle settings, you can fool with the driver assistance, climate. And then if you go to your general settings here, you can change your units right there, your language right in here. Backup cameras here, guidelines follow you as you turn the steering wheel. Now with this one not having the navigation system, when you hit map, it'll actually pull up the map on your CarPlay or Android Auto, which I think is pretty neat because that's what most of us like to use anyway. So I think that was a smart move to have that linked directly to the radio. Now we do have shortcuts for a lot of our functions here. You can set up a custom button right there, decide what it can do. And then you have one for the steering wheel as well, and I'll show you that here in a minute. But volume knobs here, click that to turn the audio off. You have a tune knob on this side. Down here, soft touch climate control, so you can set that to auto, 3 levels. Adjust the fan speed, fan direction, sync, unsync here. And then you can cut the whole system off there. 3-stage heated seats for the front. And down below here, you have 2 USB-C ports. This one will charge and connect directly to the radio. This one's only for charging. This one's a 12 volt. And then for the shifter, hit the brake, hold the lever, reverse neutral drive. Come over here, you can manually shift there. Bottle holders are here. Downhill brake control, camera there. And that'll kind of toggle it on or off the backup camera. Automatic brake hold, then your electronic parking brake, pull up to engage, hit the brake, press down and disengage. This switch here toggles your drive modes. You have normal, sport, smart. Your center console cubby space here, removable tray. And there's a look at the back seat from up here. Now up here, LED reading lights, Blue Link, SOS. And then vanity mirror here. And back up front, left side stock, blinkers. When the low beams are on, regular high beams come on. When the autos are on, auto high beams can be toggled there. Intermittent wipers are over here, so one time off, intermittent low, high. We can adjust that intermittent frequency here and pull up for the fluid. Left side of the steering wheel, standard cruise, we can turn that on or off. Set your speed there, pause, resume, lane centering system, and then you have an OK button. You can use this as a scroll bar, and then this goes through your sub menus here. Tire pressure monitors, trip meter, you can hold this down to reset certain things, or hold this down to reset certain things, excuse me. And then it'll pull up that menu there. So I think that's pretty neat. It takes some getting used to. But over here, this goes through your audio sources, voice recognition, track list or radio station favorites can be toggled there, volume down, up, mute, favorites button, again, have one set up for the steering wheel, and then your Bluetooth is right there. Push button start. Finally, here's the key fob with remote start. Then you can hold this to release the tailgate. But next, let's go ahead and take this 2026 Santa Cruz SEL out on the road for a test drive. So starting the test drive in the Santa Cruz SEL, I will say the 2.5 liter is relatively peppy to be paired with this 8-speed. It's actually kind of fun to drive, especially if you put it in the sport mode, but it just has a lot more pep to it than you would expect in a truck like this. Now you can go down to the smaller Maverick, get a 2-liter turbo or that hybrid engine, or even the Honda Ridgeline going with the V6. But this here, I like that it's just, you know, it feels like you're driving a Sonata truck. And the fuel economy kind of shows that, because you're getting 22 miles per gallon city, 30 miles per gallon highway with this powertrain. And it drives normally. I don't feel like it's lacking power. I don't feel like it's doing too much in terms of the shifting or the strain of the engine. It just feels normal. And that's what really makes this such a letdown, that we're not going to see this anymore after the 2026 model year. So I'm going to put it in a sport mode now. Going to give it a pull getting on the interstate here. Not going to floor it, but going to give it a little something. Here we go. So just a small test. It's not like I can really do 0 to 60s out here in this traffic, as you can see, but I wanted to show off the acceleration. It is pretty good. Now I want to give one more big thanks to Hyundai of Cool Springs here in Franklin, Tennessee, for allowing me to review the Santa Cruz today. I'll leave a link below in the description. If you're looking to find the best price on one of these closer to home, click that second link down below. It takes just a minute to fill out your information, and I'll make sure the local dealers are fighting to get you the best price on this or whatever new vehicle you might be interested in. But I think for the money, this SEL is solid. The features you get, having the heated seats, you have H-Tex interior here, you don't have cloth, dual zone climate controls. It's just, I think it's a nice truck for the money. Now you're kind of smack dab in between the Ridgeline and the Maverick when it comes to the price point. And I think that might be where this truck has had issues. I think you either want something the size of a Maverick or you want something the size of a Ridgeline. The Santa Cruz being kind of in the middle, you know, that can cause some issues there, because a lot of people like the Ridgeline for what it brings to the table in terms of having a truck that feels like it can do full-size truck work, but it doesn't drive like a full-size truck. And then the Maverick, if you want something that drives like a car, you have that, and you can get it basically in a pickup configuration, if that makes sense. Now again, this truck feels more like a Sonata in that sense, where it's a full-size car that's a pickup. The Maverick feels more like a, dare I say it, like a Ford Focus truck, and a lot of people like that about the Maverick. Now me particularly, I think this is a solid option because you're getting pretty good fuel economy here. It's got the power of a car. It feels like a Sonata in a lot of ways. You know, it doesn't ride as well as a Sonata, obviously, but you know, it's normal. And I mean, this sold a decent amount, I think. Now for this segment, honestly, these kind of trucks in general, it's hard to really put these against full-size pickup trucks, not necessarily because they can't hold their own. People are just used to having full-size trucks. Most people that get pickup trucks, they like to tow things, they need to tow things for work or whatever. They need that capability to tow if the situation may occur. But here, you don't really have that option. This can pull a little bit, but it's not meant to pull like a Ridgeline. It's not meant to pull like a Silverado. And you know, that's one of the issues I think that really came to be with this. The Tucson sells so well, and this is just one of those things where it's almost not a necessity. But I think for the right buyer, this is the perfect truck. Me personally, I would take this over a Ridgeline, over a Maverick, because I think you get something that's right smack dab in the middle when it comes to usability as well as the price point. So with all that being said, this will bring me to the end of my review of this 2026 Hyundai Santa Cruz. This one's an SEL.